All right, let's talk about Hims and Hers. You've probably heard of them, right? Well, this telehealth company is making some huge waves. And their latest quarterly report, it's not just a bunch of numbers, it's really a roadmap for a super ambitious future. So let's dig in and see how they're planning to pull it all off.
So you gotta ask, right? How in the world did a company that, let's be honest, most people know for hair loss and ED stuff, how did they just post nearly $600 million in a single quarter? It's a great question, and the answer? Well, it tells a really fascinating story about smart strategy and just plain aggressive growth. Okay, first up, the number that just jumps off the page, 49%. That's their revenue growth year over year. I mean, think about that. In today's economy, that kind of growth it's just wild. It's a huge sign that something really special is going on here. And that growth isn't a fluke. It's built on a massive user base. We're talking 2.5 million subscribers now. And look, these aren't just people buying something once. Nope, these are recurring subscriptions. And for a business like this, that is everything. It's the lifeblood. And here's the kicker. It's not just about bringing in a ton of money. They're actually profitable. $78 million in adjusted EBITDA for the quarter. Now that's just a fancy way of saying they're making real money. It proves they're not just growing for the sake of it, they're building a solid, healthy business. Okay, so let's get into the what. We're going to break down the big numbers from this quarter because they really set the stage for everything else. And this chart, wow, it just says it all, doesn't it? Look at that jump from around 400 million to almost 600 million in 1 year. And that doesn't just happen by accident. They're doing two things, and they're doing them really well. They're getting more subscribers, and they're getting each one to spend more. It's a classic 1-2 punch for growth. All right, so we've seen the numbers. That's the what. But now for the so what. Like, what's the actual engine behind all this growth? This is where their strategy gets super interesting. You know, this quote from the CEO, Andrew Dudum, really nails their whole philosophy. He says, scale doesn't just make us bigger, it makes us better. What he means is, for them, growth isn't just about getting bigger. Every single customer, every single interaction is data, and they use that data to make their products better, more personal. It's a brilliant feedback loop. The bigger they get, the smarter they get. And you can see that strategy in action right here. It's not just one thing firing on all cylinders, it's a whole bunch of things. Personalized solutions, up 50%. People using them for more than one issue, that's up a staggering 80%. They're becoming a real health hub. And the Hers brand? Man, that thing is a rocket ship, on track for $1 billion in revenue. Plus, they're jumping into huge new areas like testosterone and menopause and making things like weight loss more affordable. It's a full court press. But, okay, let's be real. It can't all be sunshine and roses, right? For the full picture, we've got to look at the headwinds they're facing. I mean, any company growing this fast is going to have some bumps in the road. So you've got this balancing act, right? On one side, you have these amazing growth drivers we just talked about. But on the other, you have these near-term pressures. They're making a smart shift in their sexual health business, but that causes a little short-term pain. They're digesting the costs of a big acquisition in Europe. And there's this weird timing thing with how they ship weight loss products that messes with the numbers for a bit. And to their credit, they're being upfront about it. They're flat out saying this shipping change is going to create a $20 to $25 million headwind next quarter. Now, it's really just a timing issue. The money is still coming in, it just gets counted a little later. But you can bet every financial analyst out there is going to be watching this like a hawk in the next quarterly report to see how it plays out. Okay, enough about the present. Let's talk about the future, the now what. Because this, for me, is the most exciting part. This is where Hims and Hers moves beyond just treating problems and gets into proactive health, into longevity. This is their moonshot. And they've got a super clear 3-step plan to get there. Step 1, comprehensive lab testing, coming by the end of 2025. That is a game changer. It means you can get a deep look under the hood of your own health. Step 2, they'll use all that data to guide your care, to make it truly personal. And then step 3, in 2026, they launch a whole specialty dedicated to longevity. We're talking peptides, coenzymes, the cutting-edge stuff. The goal is to get ahead of problems before they even begin. And their vision isn't just about new products. It's about taking over the world. Kinda. They're already all over the US and Europe. Canada is next up. And long-term, they're looking at Brazil, Australia, Asia. I mean, the goal is pretty clear. They want to be the global consumer health platform, period. In all of this, it all leads to these numbers, their 2030 targets. They're aiming for over $6.5 billion in revenue and more than $1.3 billion in profit. Look, these aren't just pie-in-the-sky hopes. This is a declaration. Everything we've talked about, the personalization, the new services, the global push, it's all designed to get them right here.
So we end on this big question. Hims & Hers is sitting on over $1 billion in cash. They have a huge, growing customer base and this incredibly clear, bold vision for the future. So the question isn't, will they survive anymore? The question is, can they dominate? Can they actually pull this off and completely change the game for consumer healthcare by 2030? Well, that is definitely what we'll all be watching.